Okay, you guys. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jennifer Blackert, and this is the How Hustle podcast and talk show. And today we are talking Arcturians, chakras, and a whole lot more with Kenji Kumara. And today I am just going to go with the flow, ask questions, take callers, and just really have a ton of fun with you. There's just a few things that I want to remind you about up front. If you didn't see Tuesday's show, I'd love if you'd go back and watch it and give us some feedback in the comments. I really was blown away with that. And I am so proud of how we played together and worked together and with y'all. And it was just such an inspiring moment. I'd love for you guys to see that. I also want you to know with that, we unleashed a chakra harmonics program. It We worked with a sound engineer that created frequencies to really release, open up, and move all seven chakras or all seven main chakras. I know there's a lot more than that. And I hope that you get a chance to check it out. So look for that in the newsletter. If you're not on the newsletter, you can get on the newsletter by going to howthustle.com. If you're watching on YouTube, I just want to remind you to like and subscribe. And if you hit the bell, you'll actually get notified on our next shows. And I'm pre setting up the show now, so you can also go to some of the lives the day before and actually get notifications that way as well. So with that said, I'm just going to go ahead and bring Kenji on, and we'll go ahead and get started. Kenji, hello. It's always such a joy to be with you. There we go.
Hi, Janet. Hi, everyone.
Hi. So I did some snooping around on
Oh,
your
no, you did. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And and I saw on your site that you during the portal of 111, you did an activation with the Arcturians. And I wanted to know more about that because I have had my Arcturian channel start to come online with me. And I've just have a lot of questions now with how this works. And I think people like you that really are the master of this really understand all these various aspects to channeling and channeling different, either galactic races or through angels and other portals like that. Can we start there? I feel like the audience probably has had enough background from you, and maybe more of your background and who you are will come out through this conversation. Uh, and I guess I'll just send one more sentence out. If you haven't met Kenji, he was one of my real teachers and dear friends at the very beginning of my work. I didn't really understand how we could embed and encode fifth dimensional frequencies. He kind of explained some of that to me, and in general, he just blows my mind every time we have a conversation. So, uh, Kenji, let's talk about channeling. How, for you, do you, I mean, choose and work with various galactic councils or the Council of Light to channel? Talk about that for a minute.
Well, let's see. To put a long story in a nutshell, hmm, that's a good image. Putting your story in a nutshell. All right. Then cracking it open. I don't know if it's possible. Well, it probably is possible to teach people to teach others how to so-called channel. But here's the thing. We all have a direct line to our cosmic soul. And our cosmic soul has a direct line to our I am presence. and our I am presence has a direct connection, alignment to prime source. So if we understand that from the very beginning, then really through the power of intention, in the sense of a focused declaration, or rather it could just be a one-pointed focus in a sense, through our beingness, we can bring through, as we are ready, as the body is ready, we can bring forth through the voice and through our hands and through our eyes, these higher dimensional flows. Now, speaking of star systems, Arcturians, Pleiadians, Sirians, Lyrans or Lyrans, Andromedians, etc. There are many galactic races of which we are a part. We have not with all of them, but with one or some. And we can refer to that as our soul group on its highest dimensional level, or even our home realm, because when we leave here, we generally go back to a place like the Pleiades or Andromeda or Arcturus to further our education and learning and galactic service. So if one is starting to get impressions from a galactic race or a star system or a planetary system, it probably means that you're now ready to be more conscious and aware of working with your soul group, which is very important to consciously align with your soul group when you're doing your mission statement, because we're not doing it alone. So Arcturians are very masterful in the healing arts, whether it's technology, healing arts, or energetic, emotional, psychological. They have studied this level for a very long time, so they have become masters of healing. So if you wish to bring through a healing presence for yourself, for others, they would be great to call upon. But even what's more important is they work with souls when they make transition from this earth plane. Part of their mission statement as a collective is to help the transitioning souls go through the cycles and the dimensions of the transition. And they work in another aspect, which I think is very important. They work with children in a sense. All different kind of children from different races. They work with the education of those souls as young bodies, shall we say. Now, got to remember, on these certain star systems, there is no death, there's no aging and all that. So we have an understanding of like why we can't like reverse the aging process in our bodies, or why our bodies get sick or get diseased or get injured. On some level, we understand that, well, that's kind of like a oddity, because in our home realm, we don't have those kind of things.
Is
But
that because we have a collective agreement about time?
well, we bought into the whole illusion here. So that's why we suffer.
Okay, right.
You understand that, right? We somehow popped into this illusionary matrix and we can't get out, or we believe we can't get out, right?
We believe we have to die to get out.
Yeah. And even then, that's a question mark, because if you keep reincarnating into the loop,
Yeah.
right? And the TMers, when I worked with them in Iowa, in Fairfield, Iowa, back in the day, the senior meditators would come for a session, and a wave session, and pretty much every one of them, these are 30, 35-year meditators, senior people in the organization. So they were like the instructors and the administrators. They all told me that they would reach a ceiling in their meditation, and they wanted to like move beyond it, but they couldn't. So what they were telling me back in 2008, 9, was that they hit the veil.
Mm.
They couldn't proceed beyond it. So that actually is a good example, right? So in meditation, if you have where you reach a ceiling where you can't go beyond it, that just means that you've like upon the veil. And part of the work is helping people to understand that and to somehow, in some way, to move beyond it, to
Well,
break through it or move around it or to dissolve it or to understand that it's an illusion and that really in reality it cannot affect you as a being. Yes?
what would be an example of like hitting the veil? Like how might that be experienced?
Okay, so for those of you that know on some level that you can bring in more information, a cosmic level,
Mm.
shall we say, but you're not able to do it, you,
Okay.
you've hit the veil part.
Okay. And then what would be the way that they start to remove that veil?
Well, to understand that first, that is an illusion within the illusion, right? It's
Mm.
not in reality. It's a collective agreement by the beings that, how shall we say, have manipulated this world.
Sure, techies. I call them techies.
Well, on pretty much all levels of awareness relating to this earth plane, it's been manipulated and controlled. So
Hmm.
yes, our DNA has been, shall we say, messed with. How that happens without our agreement, well, that's for another retreat or a workshop. But in any case, let's just say that we came into this world to understand that this is who we are not. This is not our true reality, but we came into the illusion to be free of the illusion so that we as ambassadors, when we decide go to other systems that are stuck in some kind of illusionary creation, collectively speaking, that we can help those civilizations to be free or freer. You know, it's a lot like what Star Trek depicted in their episodes way back when.
Yeah, I think that a lot of that is exactly how it all works, right? The whole
Ah,
teleportation
yeah.
systems and other things like that. Because, you know, it seems like, if aliens and UFOs are showing up on our planet these days, that is very much they came through some sort of teleportation. They didn't like follow our system of light years. They have a different technology entirely.
Yeah, they came to the
Hmm.
Stargates and
Uh-huh.
those, yeah. And like beam me up, Scotty, get me off this earth plane, man. It's just too dense and
Yeah.
everybody's suffering in chaos, especially now, right? Well, that whole idea, beam me up, yes, when your Merkaba is functional,
Hmm.
and I believe that most people's Merkaba have been disabled.
On purpose,
Yes, on
right?
purpose. So we believe that we cannot go from here to there just like that,
Hmm.
right?
And because we believe it, we can't. I did a class once on folding time,
Yeah.
and yeah, and I used to be driving to a yoga class and be like, I'm gonna fold time, and I would get there in like 5 minutes instead of what it would usually take me like 20. And I just thought that was just really curious how I could literally ask, and it would seem as if I could bend time just a little bit.
And you could
Yeah.
teach that as part of your seminar. It would be well attended.
Yeah, well, I just don't know exactly how to teach it or exactly how I was doing that. But I think that was just so, it was, there are these trannies. That's what I call them, these trans, like trans te teleportation or like telepathy would be
Mhm.
like what I call a tranny.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's how I'm sensing when I pull my channel out. that is very much how it's communicated. It's like telepathy. And then I've got to give it the English words.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We actually do that quite a bit, the whole telepathy thing, but we're unconscious of it because our parents or adults didn't teach us as we were growing up about these psychic abilities.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a new thing out. It's called like the telepathy tapes or something like that.
Hmm.
And it's an actual researcher that worked with autistic children. And then they'd have like a number that they'd put like behind their head, and they'd be like, "What number am I showing?" And they would, touch it on a screen or something like that. I don't know too much about it, but I do know that within that autistic community and how they use their brains, it's very, very different and very real.
Yeah, very different than how most people use their brain. Yes.
Yeah.
So let's see, to finish up on your question about the Arcturians. So if you wanted to express more of your healing ability, your innate healing ability, you can call upon the Arcturians, the elders, or specific ones. It doesn't really matter,
Mm.
but you'll need to go into the quantum state to do that. So, the reason why some things or most things don't work is because it's projected from the 3D plane, and that never works because it's not a vibration of oneness and connection and higher consciousness. So you have to be at least in the fifth dimension, at least, but preferably navigating between 5 and 12D and even beyond that. When you get into the 13th dimension, then your awareness encompasses all of the 12 dimensions and you can kind of see how they work, or at least how they worked in your life. And then you can begin to teach it to others. So really the
Mm.
13th dimension is the dimension that, shall we say, your cosmic soul sits upon in a sense, or that's where your I am presence has the grand overview of the other major dimensions. But think of it this way. We
Wow.
have 144 major dimensions, but we also have, cosmically speaking, 144,000 dimensional levels, chakra systems, etc. But that number is so vast that the brain can't comprehend it. So we just use 12 to represent the 144 that represents 144,000.
So, do you know when you are meditating, do you know which dimension you're in?
Oh, if I ask, but
Okay.
but you can go by what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean emotionally, but I mean
Sure.
kinesthetically, vibrationally speaking. So whenever you go into a dimension that's inclusive of this sense of oneness and complete 100% loving support, that's the place where you want to be.
Yeah.
That place where there is no fear, there is no thinking, and there is no judgment and no doubt. That's the oneness. That's how you can tell.
hmm I think that's usually where I try to get my meditations to go because I know how blissful that is. And when I get out of it, I just feel like I love everything.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't, and it's kind of funny. I had a lot of resistance to actually meditating when I first started this work. Like I'd do these activations during the show, but I wouldn't do it on my own. And I think one of the reasons to that is I think that I was a little bit scared of it, and I felt like it was just, a waste of time. I think there was conclusion around that. Can you talk a little bit about your meditation practice and your journey in reaching these various different dimensions? Do you have a way that you always go into it on your own so that you can tap more into these like multidimensional frequencies?
Yeah. So let's use an sports example because I think we've all played a variation of sports as we were growing up.
Mm.
So the ideal athlete to prepare for a game or to even prepare for practice would do some level of internal relaxation and calming, of the mind to get centered and focused. And then they might do a visualization of how they want to practice or how they want to perform in a game, a live situation. Uh, and athletes call that the zone.
Hmm.
But not a lot of people speak of that. Not a lot of athletes speak publicly of the zone, but that's where you play the perfect game. And the whole game slows down like in slow motion. And you can see plays developing before they actually develop that level. Okay. So same thing in meditation or yoga. What I do is, well, I do some physical stretching.
Hmm.
I do the honoring of the four directions. I do
Uh-huh.
this kind of, I don't know what you call it, where you hold your earlobes as you cross your arms, and then I squat like 16 times. I don't know what the name of that exercise is, but I do that. I do four directions with the invocation. Let's see what else I do. I rub my hands together to come into oneness. And I do some physical stretching. So I stretch my thighs, my low back, my shoulder joints, and then I go sit in meditation and I do a specific protocol. Much of what we teach in these activations, remember in your telesummit way back when, we'd ask the audience to invoke four pillars of light, and we can do that now
Hmm.
because everybody has access to the higher dimensions. This is a matter of reminding people. So, like these four pillars of light that come from archangels or that level of consciousness, it serves to create sacred space. So, whenever you invoke four pillars of light, or three pillars of light, or one pillar of light, or 12, or 13, or 144, doesn't matter. It'll be anchored in your physical environment energetically. So, if you do this right now, to just invoke any number of pure archangel pillars of light. I call them pillars of light because I don't know what else to call them. Rays of light, beacons of light, beams of light, bubbles of light. Um, Allow that to anchor energetically in your physical space or in your office or in your home, wherever you are, or if you're out in nature, out in nature. But also invoke it for your home. So it's gonna uplift the vibrations of your field, your aura, and your home, the aura of your home and the immediate environment. And you can put these pillars of light around your car. So whenever you drive, you're going to be divinely protected. So you will notice the difference just by doing that. So I do that, and then I do
Wow.
specific intentions to bring my awareness into the upper room or into the oneness. And then I call upon Great Central Sun, Prime Creator energies, New Earth. I call in my Council of Light, my healing team, my animal guides, all that stuff, my home realm. And I do a clearing to make sure that I'm clear of tribal consciousness and the chaos of the world, which is very important. Because when you do that, then you will not be affected by the chaos that's in the world right now on many, many levels. As you know, there's extreme instability, fear, anger, confusion. So that's part of the old matrix. That's what keeps you stuck in this duality. So if we came here to understand that that's not who we are, we're not this um, emotional and psychological division and sense of separation that people, how shall we say, agree to on some level. We're not tribal consciousness. We are unique beings. So if we understand that we
Mm.
came here to understand of what we're not, then we can be freer of that which we're not, because we understand I'm not this judgment, I'm not this emotion, I'm not this confusion, I'm not this suffering in my body, I'm not any of that. If I'm not my body and my emotions and my thoughts, then who am I? And that part of who am I, that's the real part of what we call cosmic soul, shall we say.
Hmm.
So, in other words, your cosmic soul never suffers and is completely aware of what's going on, but your conscious self may be disconnected enough not to pay attention. And in that case, then we rely on external forces for our healing or our awakening or our resolution to our problems. But once we understand that we are the solution, that makes a whole difference. And we're all learning more about, oh, okay, so if I go within and I bring in my presence, my cosmic soul, vibration into my body, as I go to sleep tonight, well, that's going to help in all kinds of ways. So think about this, the key to the kingdom, and it's like the biblical saying, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and all things shall be granted unto thee. That is really true. If each of us sought the kingdom within first as a solution to our problems, we'd be sovereign beings, self-empowered beings, moving through the world, knowing that we are not what we are moving through in the illusion. We are helping people to wake up, to get out of the loop, to get out of this sense of I got to suffer, back to their original state of joy and love and peace, right? So whenever you are in this place of joyfulness and inspiration, and I love everything, like you said, Janet, yeah, that's your home realm. That's your true state. The challenge is to create that 24/7, no matter what is happening physically in your life. And
Right.
the main people that knock you out of the quantum are your family.
You're right. I have a
Yeah.
few, yeah. I have a
Yeah.
few like that. I also have one that, I get, right? And he gets me. And, it's kind of nice to have a couple of family members that just really understand you. He's like, I hear your whispers.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and it's like I love you. We're family, and it feels like okay, yeah. There's something else that's probably happened on in the past, but yeah, I get it. But yeah, I mean, I feel that. I mean, but isn't that kind of an ascension symptom by when you do get knocked out of your bliss and your resilience? That's really truly to help us grow. So we can't be too angry with it when we get bumped out, and we usually can find our way back pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Especially, yeah,
Yes.
especially with
Yeah.
these practices.
Yes.
Hmm.
And then finish up on your thing with the Arcturians. Whenever you do healing work with people, whether it's long distance, hands-on, in person, call
Yeah.
upon the Arcturian Council. Well, there are many aspects to the Arcturians, but there are specific healing teams
Hmm.
or kids educational teams, consultants, if you will. There are the Arcturian elders. So that's if you want more or to remember the wisdom part of everything, you can call upon them.
Yeah, I get that they very much work as a collective one, but
Mm.
there's these various groups within the Arcturians that have specialties, so to speak.
Specialties, yeah,
Yeah.
just like we do here on Earth, right?
Uh-huh.
Have a lot of specialists. So doctors
Yeah.
can't do everything, so there are specialty doctors, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And they're actually called to do that work. I mean, they have that desire in their heart. I want to be a doctor. And some of them are really specific. I want to be a doctor of blah. And it's funny, I my little cousin is going to school for forensic psychology, and she knew she wanted to do that when she was 17. And
Mm.
it's just I love people that are just on purpose in that way. They're like, this is what I'm doing. And it's really interesting because I feel like I had to find my way through nutrition classes to get to this work of
Mhm.
wellness and healing. I mean, ironically, I was always, I guess, the healer underlying, but then, I thought I did that through nutrition, and that alone. And I think it's so interesting how we have to really do the work to find our purpose. It's really an action based. People can't just say, "Oh, your purpose is to have fun." And
Mhm.
it is a little bit, right? Follow your passion, follow your bliss, as Joseph Campbell would say. And I think that, your bliss eventually finds you.
Yes,
So,
that's very appropriate. Follow your bliss.
yeah.
And to finish up on your Arcturian question, so
Hmm.
uh, when you come upon someone that's ready to make transition, you can telepathically tell them, call upon the Arcturians, and they'll help you through the passage because that's their specialty. That's their one galactic specialty is the whole transition process
Hmm.
because it's a big deal. It, it
Yeah.
it's not a light thing in the sense of to take it lightly, making transition from an incarnation can be a big deal. And it
Hmm.
can be traumatic if not with guidance. So these lost souls, these supposedly lost souls, they turn their back against the guidance and are kind of in limbo in the astral plane for a time. Not forever,
Uh-huh.
but for a time.
Is that like purgatory?
Yes, yes.
Can you
Hell,
be in a
purgatory.
physical body and be in purgatory?
Oh, well, you can. Yeah. I mean, look at the people that you have known client-wise that have suffered a lot,
Hmm.
that have gone through tremendous trauma,
Yeah.
right? That's their hell and purgatory in a physical way. But Ramtha told an interesting story. I had listened to him in a audio tape, I think. This was years ago.
If it's a tape, I figured.
Yeah. He said he went looking for the devil in the whole of the universe. He couldn't find it. But he
The
also mentioned,
double.
huh? The devil.
Oh, the
He
devil.
went to find the devil
Wow.
and he couldn't find it.
Hmm.
But anyway, a side story to that was he described these souls that made transition that were so in fear, whether they died physically in fear from like an unexpected accident or they got shot or whatever, right? Trauma.
Hmm.
And they didn't believe in the light because they were told by the church that the devil will disguise himself as a light or angels. So he saw beings that were so afraid when they made transition of the light, of the help, that they would literally be in a corner of the universe, turning their back against the light and God or angelic help.
Mm.
So that occurs, but those souls, when they're ready, will decide, okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna face the light and get some help. So these all these different levels. See, here's the thing: humanity collectively is stuck in the astral plane that's related to this earth.
Right.
So I won't say all the gurus, there were certain gurus or certain spiritual teachers that warned against being trapped in the astral plane. Yeah. So if you find yourself in some kind of a cycle where it's just continual suffering and things don't go right and bad luck and curses and spells and all that, well, yeah, that's definitely being entangled in the collective astral plane. Now, it's easy to
Mm.
get out of it, but you have to decide first that that's what that is and that you don't want any part of that. So it's an internal decision of what you are deciding how you want your life to be. So just because your family members have all suffered a certain kind of emotional trauma, it's a genetic pattern, that's carried down through the generations. When one is ready to be free of that, then one can be free of that. But one has to be aware first that that's the entanglement. So part of the actually in the family dynamics of things and why people really don't look forward to going to Thanksgiving and Christmas with their family, generally speaking.
Right.
Susan, I had just heard it more and more and more, right? So yeah, I guess it's true, is that this family entanglement of energies, auras being entangled and just discombobulated, and everybody's feeling other people's stuff, right? That
Hmm.
does not feel good.
No.
As opposed to having clear boundaries. Here's our space together. We have our own field that's separate in a sense, but we connect through the power of love and joy and the higher levels. That's instead of courting and being enmeshed, the other way is through resonance, where I hold this field of love and compassion, and you do too, and that's how we connect.
Hmm.
But humanity's not was not taught that. So historically, genetically, the miasm, this collective miasm that's carried down through generations, the church will call it the sins of the father, or visit upon the children, 7 generations. Well, it's a lot more, but they got the idea that it's carried down through the genetics and through the field, uh,
Right.
vibrational field. But once we understand, oh, I don't have to live my life. I don't have to live my ancestors' patterns of this money suffering thing, this poverty consciousness, this don't always have enough, or like this viewpoint of money is dirty and evil and can't trust rich people and all that kind of stuff, right? So we
Yeah.
understand these levels, then we can break free of it. It's just a matter of choice.
Hmm.
I'm choosing now to be free of all of that. That's where it begins, but on a high level in the quantum.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It really has to come from a space of I am this. I know that this is the way I am, right? Versus the way of those belief systems. You know, I mean, it's there, some of those are just so ingrained in people that they almost don't even think it's a point of view or a belief system. They just live by it. Like this is a rule of my life, right? And I think I mean, that's kind of what's fun about this work is when people will kind of impose a point of view upon me and I get to go, no. That's your point of view. That's not my point of view. And maybe there are some people that agree with you, but no, it doesn't have to be that way. And when we make that choice, literally our brain changes, right? The synapses that have agreed upon those beliefs, they go and I mean, talk about changing your DNA, changing your genetics just like that. I love these conversations. Well, another thing I snooped around on for your site,
Oh, you're the snooper. Okay, you're the snooper.
I saw that you had a chakra program out there too. And since I've just, I sort of like I did yoga all these years, and, we always used to just talk lightly about chakras. But I'm kind of curious, what is that? And like, what are you finding from the field, or as you say, like the quantum? What are you finding to really support our bodies and support our, energetic centers?
Oh, by the way, I haven't officially launched that chakra program, so you must have telepathically tuned into my draft because it's not
Okay, maybe it was a
advertised in
taste.
it's not advertised anywhere, and I haven't really told anybody about it except for my web team. But anyway,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Huh. I wonder if I just sensed that.
yeah. See, there you go.
Cool. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. It's still in draft form.
Those
Word
whispers.
doc.
Well, then people can know about it up front and wait for it to
Yeah.
come out in what, a couple months.
But anyway, the way that I see this, if we're talking about self-mastery, if we're talking about ascended mastery consciousness, we each have to master our different chakra flows. So if we have any imbalances that come through our chakra system, we can't make the full journey home, if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
So it's very important to understand that if we have these vortexes or portals that express into the world certain vibrations that relate everything from earth survival to emotional health and well-being to self-empowerment to the power of affinity and compassion to and each chakra point carries a kind of psychic sense with it,
Hmm.
and our inner knowing and our visionary capacity and all of that. When we master the energies that flow through our chakras into the world, the physical world, as well as the other worlds, then we are in this state of mastery. And then we can come and go here, if you know what I mean. We're not
Hmm.
bound by this earth plane. That's why ascended masters, as an example, can appear here physically and then disappear. So Saint Germain is a good example because he loves to do that. He can appear physically, literally physically to people, and then the next moment he's gone.
Uh-huh. Well, that's what Jesus did,
Correct.
like an apparition.
Yeah.
I
In
don't know if
fact,
that's a little bit
he
different.
didn't even have to, well, that is, yeah, high form of teleportation and stuff. See, we all have these abilities. It's just that if you think of it this way, if I asked any of you here on this call and you had these abilities, how about you go to the local police department and talk to them about teleportation and bilocation and stuff as a way to help catch criminals that commit crimes?
Yep. You'd be locked up.
That's right. That's why we hide it,
Hmm.
basically. It's a subconscious thing, right? I don't want to get condemned or ridiculed or whatever it is. So we have to get over that.
Yeah.
So the more that we don't have this fear of expressing these abilities, the more people will begin to do it because it's the 100 monkey effect, right?
Hmm.
So if I do it and you do it and everybody on this call does it, your friends are going to start wanting to do it, etc.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like magic
It's
on
time
earth.
for all of us to come out of the closet because they don't have enough people now to catch us and put us in jail like they did before. What?
Right? There's too many of us. There's too many of us monkeys.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. And that's one of the reasons I really feel like now is the time for us really to have these conversations and really just blow this out. Because, this is like, they wrote The Secret in what, 2006? And I mean, and we're still just finally now, getting to what really is the secret.
Hmm.
Yeah. And this whole galactic collection where, there's just all these benevolent beings are here to support us in so many different ways.
So as
Well,
veil thins, then there's going to be more of these phenomena that's going to
mhm,
occur.
yeah,
Main thing is again, though, what kind of a world do we want to live in? And that's what we're going to create.
yeah. I feel like there's going to be another wave of like the UFO type phenomenon. I think they call them UAPs now,
Yeah.
but I think that that's going to happen in the next couple years. And when that does, there's going to be a whole lot more of us because it's going to be undeniable.
What I would
Yeah.
love for them to do soon
Yeah.
is to come down as a collective,
Hmm.
make a planetary announcement that would be
Yeah.
telepathic, it would be on TV, but on radio, it would be on YouTube, it'd be like on social media. To tell the people of the earth the dangers of continuing to create wars
Mm.
and slavery and poverty in a way that would wake people up. so that collectively, perhaps all world leaders would go, they're right. It's time to end this pattern so we all can be free.
Yeah. And to be honest, I think we're like, they're probably looking down on us going, what if there's a Star Wars, right? What if there are wars between the galaxy? Well, this planet's already fighting itself. It's like we're just we're fighting. Our whole planet is fighting in some way. It just seems to be just so ridiculous. It's,
Well,
yeah.
Jen, if you
And
study history, I did back in my college days. And to think about this level is like mind-boggling. It like makes no common sense at all. But
mm,
this world has never really had a period of peace where there was no war or conflict on some part of the planet or globe, except during King Asoka's reign in northern India. There was a period of about 300 or 350 years where there was no known conflicts and wars. But other than that, this planet has always known conflict. So it is like, I guess it's like using the analogy of childhood abuse. If
mm,
everybody does it, well, okay, that's normal,
mhm.
right?
Yeah, which is
So the
ridiculous.
planet
But
has now
yeah,
this,
I get
yeah,
it.
the planet has
Yeah.
decided I'm tired of this. Okay, you're not
hmm
going to conflict on my skin anymore, in a sense.
hmm
I has spoken.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's taken enough abuse and suffering from humanity. And there is this rumor out that our ET brothers and sisters have the technology to reverse all uh, chemical pollutions on our planet in the air, the water, the soil, etc.
hmm
Literally.
But they don't interfere in that way. Like, so, I mean, they can't yet, is what I get.
Yeah, because well, we haven't asked. I guess there hasn't been enough people
You
to
have.
yes, come on, you
I
guys.
have now.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, it would be nice if that and these med beds that people talk about, would come to our planet too.
So here you guys try this. This is an exercise. We're not saying it's true and we're not saying it's not true, but okay, you can take notes if you want.
Mm,
So you can call upon the Arcturians when you do your healing meditations for yourself, for your body, and ask to receive the regenesis chamber. Regenesis chamber or the rejuvenation chamber. It's like a med bed, but it's in
uh-huh.
ask the Arcturian healers for that. Every
Okay.
if you are working on some medical condition in your body that's of a serious nature of where you don't want to get surgery, you don't want to get chemo, you don't want to get anything that's going to be toxic to your body, there are alternatives. So one of them is the Arcturian Regenesis chamber.
Okay. Great. Well, I'm gonna keep working on that. I love it.
Yeah.
Talking about healing, I had done a call and Susan, who has her hand up now, asked a question. And that was the time when, thank you, Dana, for correcting my spelling. It's regenerist with a T. Uh, and she has her hand up today. So I'd like you to hear her question and see if you
Okay.
can support her with some physical healing. All
Okay.
right. And anybody else that wants to ask a question, go ahead and raise your hand now. Susan, you're up.
Thank you. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Kinchi.
Hello.
Yes, I know I am a Taurian. I have an Arcturian guy called Nico. I think he's the one with the blue face and the sunglasses. Well, anyway, I'm trying to figure out what dimension I'm in right now. I am having, as we're even speaking, Number one, I have a sight problem. I lost my central vision, quote, in a 3D plane here. Spirit has given me like fifth dimensional sight where I see colors, I see the angels, I see the archangels, and right now I'm seeing half green, half pink. My crystal balls are floating by. They give me hearts floating by, different type of things. And this goes on sometimes for a couple days. I feel like I'm caught between two timelines. I'm not like on Earth here, but yet I'm not like over there. I'm wondering if the Arcturians at this time are taking me over basically to one of their healing spaceships.
Mm-hmm.
Because when this happens, my eyesight, I can't see through it in the physical sense because of my central vision loss in the 3D, but yet I see this perfectly clear while I'm physically awake, even talking to you. And I'm trying to figure out why this happens only at certain times, but I feel stuck. Like, I don't know where it's like coming from. Yet I was told this is one of your gifts, appreciate it, but I can't function here in the 3D world when they have me there in the 5D world. I'm like caught. And then I can't function right because I can't read, I can't write, I can't drive.
Yeah,
in case in point, we had to go to the market today, and I'm like, oh boy, let's not bump into anything because there was just this whole scenario going on.
So you set the parameters because it's your body with them, with any being. You set the parameters of when you want to go into this other reality. So it'd be like 10 o'clock every morning. Okay, we'll do this, Arcturians. Between 10 and 11 Earth time, in my time zone, we will do this. All right?
Okay.
Never while you're driving into this other realm. But you set the parameters. You tell them. Because, see, they don't understand about how we have to function in this kind of time limitation sequence kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10 a.m. my time for 1 Earth hour, we can do this thing. But here's the other thing. Ask them for a vision template that can and will correct your physical vision to normal so that you can function on the Earth plane. Although it is possible to clairvoyantly function on the Earth plane without your physical sight.
So,
So
I set the limits. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're setting boundaries. This is what I
Okay.
want you guys to work with me.
Are they the ones still working with me? I'm assuming they are. How do I know?
Well, you ask. When you're in the other place, ask.
See, that's the problem. I'm there right now, but I'm also kind of here. Like
Yeah.
every
Oh,
But
like, but we are channeling during this. I mean, I think Kenji just kind of stays in the state all the time from my perspective, or at least when he comes on to facilitate. So we are kind of playing there now
yeah.
from my awareness with this. So that's probably why you feel that way now. But
Mhm.
get off the call and give it 30 minutes and say, I just want to be right here.
Okay.
And I'll let Kenji kind of facilitate how to, be here.
Yeah, I
3D.
need help on that with the grounding and to be here. I'm always somewhere else, and yet I've tried all this grounding techniques, and here I am again.
so here's the deal. When you meditate or you go into that meditative or yogic state, you can do this alternative reality stuff. When
Okay.
you come back out of your meditation, you're an earth being. You're fully connected with your body doing earth things, practical things,
Okay.
errands, whatever you need to do in your household, your business projects, whatever it might be. So there's a time to be totally physical, and then there's a time in meditation to be cosmic.
Okay.
But if you try to do both at the same time, it could be like what you're experiencing. So we suggest There's a time for this cosmic level stuff in meditation, and then there's time just to be a physical body and do your earth stuff
Okay.
with your earth vision. So ask the Arcturians for the vision template or the eyesight template or whatever has caused your eyes to not be normal anymore, whatever the doctors, the eye doctors have said, optic nerve, whatever.
It's retinal degeneration.
Okay.
That's
So
what they're saying.
you can ask the Arcturians for a template to reverse that condition. Now, here's another thing. Write this down. Your doctor should have recommended this to you for macular degeneration or anything having to do with losing your eyesight. It's called AREDS2, AREDS number 2,
Okay.
vitamin I formula.
Okay.
You can get an inexpensive price by Googling coupons for that particular product, but it's sold by Bausch & Lomb and another company, I think, but it's a little expensive. But you can get coupons to take to Walgreens, Rite Aid, Costco, where you pay much less money. But what you got to do is Google coupon codes for AREDS2 eye formula.
Okay.
They're made of vitamins, believe it or not.
Right.
It's all natural. Take 3 a day.
Wow.
Okay.
As supposed to prevent and or reverse or reduce the symptoms of degeneration. They take
They
that
never told me that. They never recommended anything except eye injections.
Yeah, see, well, that goes to show you there's some doctors that are just out to lunch. They just don't know or
Could you
don't
spell,
care.
could you
Yeah,
spell it again?
AREDS.
That's my husband,
Okay,
Bob.
thank you.
He's the one who does this all for me because I can't read, or even if I'm back here on Earth, I still got the issue.
Yeah.
Because you need the central vision for your detail, and that's the part that went haywire.
So you practice this in meditation, work with the Arcturians
Okay.
with the vision template, and then we'll see how it goes. Be patient.
Do I just say I'm sorry, the brain ain't working right today. It's like I'm in these two cosmos things here.
Besides the eye, she also had a brain injury.
I had also had a brain injury, which affected the eyesight too. So I have
well,
like a
same
double.
thing. You asked them that for the rebuilding your brain template. However you want to phrase it. You have to get creative enough to ask for whatever outrageous energy that will help you to, how shall we say? I'm not going to say be normal, but to be functionally happy on the earth plane.
Yeah.
I understand what you're
And you
saying.
got to
He
remember also,
That's
you
right.
got to remember also, you can navigate the earth plane using your psychic senses.
I've been doing that because even when I go shopping with my girlfriends, I'm just like, okay, guys, now let's lay this out for me here. And it's like, I call it my, it's not my third eye, I just call it my mind's eye. And they kind of navigate me. And every now and then I fall or something, but you're right. I rely on all my other senses.
Yeah, your body can compensate. Your field can compensate. So thank you very much.
Thank
for
you.
asking
Thank
that.
you.
Thank
Just,
you very much.
keep the faith.
Really appreciate it for all your help. Thank you. It's been a real blessing. And
Thank you.
blessings to you, Kenji, and to also you, Jenna. I've been very blessed today to even be able to talk to you. So thank you. It was just spirit's timing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Great. Okay, Dana, you're up.
Hi, everybody. Okay, so my question is, Kenji, on the 222 portal, I had a very profound heart expansion experience, and the other night I was drawn to take a picture towards my ceiling, and I did, and there's a ton of these white orbs, and that was last night. And then this morning I took a picture when I was driving, and I have a picture of the rainbow orbs, and it's the exact same pattern. And I believe I was connecting with the Venusians I had a reading on the 20th, and the Venusians popped in. They are in my birth chart. And I'm wondering, just because of timing, is if it's possible if you can confirm that for me? Or
Confirm which now?
about it?
Confirm which?
Just about the Venusian connection.
Think of it this way. So the Kumara lineage, I am a part of the Kumara lineage, are from Venus, or shall we say, hang out in Venus.
Mm-hmm.
A little backstory really quickly. Millions of years ago, the Earth was in a very dark place because these laggards, we'll just call them, well, they're here now controlling the world, or were controlling the world. So the laggards came because they blew up their planet. They were looking for another home to be. So the Earth and said, yes, you can come here, you can incarnate here. So they came here in mass and began to control the people that were already here, the natives that were already here on Earth, made them into slaves for gold, etc. This Earth got so dark energetically, the aura was so dark that Prime Creator was contemplating recycling the Earth back to essence because there was no known remedy to uplift this darkness, this heaviness. Sanat Kumara, who is the Logos on Venus, somehow had an innate connection with the Earth. And so, you know, the story, the biblical story of Venus is like the sister planet to Earth. Well, yeah, that's true. They also are evolutionary wise ahead of Earth. So they have been through what Earth is going through, so they understand everything. So anyway, the Kumaras, as a teaching lineage, with the help of the Hathors from the Doll universe, which is a neighboring universe, an enlightened universe, decided to band together to incarnate to Earth, to save the Earth and bring in Christ consciousness, because it didn't have that. It didn't even have the idea of evolution, spiritual growth. So that was implanted in the atmosphere of the Earth. And Sanat Kumara actually left Venus and held the space on Earth for millions of years so that the planet could evolve and come into some level of peace and awareness. So he did that for millions of years. But in the 1950s, he decided to go back to Venus because Earth had enough consciousness at that time to continue the evolution. So now Earth has this Christ consciousness principle. So we're all working with that template that was established millions of years ago, which is the evolution of consciousness into Christed awareness. So it didn't have it before. So now it has it. Let me see. So all you need to do is just meditate visually, because you're good at that. You can visually connect with the field, the aura of Venus. You can ask to be taken to the temples on Venus because they're in a higher dimensional state. Physically, no, it doesn't look like anything. But in the higher dimensions, you can see the temples, you can see everything that's going on and how they're relating to Earth, helping the Earth to evolve, and also other planets in our galaxy. So yeah, Venus is, in a way, kind of like our home away from home, in a way. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Okay. Jenith, you're muted.
Sorry about that. We had a question on the chat, and it's from Linda, and it says, I've been drawn to the Arcturians as long as I can remember. Is there a specific one to call upon to reawaken the Arcturian aspect of myself, or do we call upon the entire collective to assist us when working with them. Thank you. Such a great call.
Yeah, either way, you can do this now, dear. Just close your eyes, go within, let go of the external world, let go of the world of form, let go of tribal consciousness, let go of everything for a moment. So you can be in this place of stillness, move into that place of inner stillness that is called the void. And now using this vibration of stillness as you as stillness, ask the Arcturians for advice on your next step. And then bring that awareness back to your body, into the brain, into the heart center, into your solar plexus, into your base chakra. And then open your eyes and then take some notes on what you are now getting and receiving. And trust what you get. And if you're unclear, ask further. More clarity, please. More clarity. Sometimes these beings can be kind of vague, so you want to probe them in a sense of going deeper. Okay, more clarity, please. More clarity, even more clarity than that. Just keep asking for more clarity, more detail, more specifics. Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
So, Kenji, I'm just leaving this open for you to kind of pimp yourself out and tell people where they can find you, how they can work with you, what cool things you have in your shop, and things like that. So, you've got the floor.
Do we have the gift offer for this show?
See, that's Lianka's part. So, I didn't see something. Was it the free gift on money?
No, it was a 2
Oh,
month free membership program thing.
oh,
I sent it a few days
right.
ago.
Okay, yes. Why don't you talk about that and I will make sure it's in the newsletter.
Okay. So our free gift offer for anybody that hears this call is 2 months of our membership program for free. We meet weekly now, not twice a month, but we meet weekly. It's a very unique program. So it meets every Thursday at 4 p.m. Arizona time for about an hour and a half, if not a little bit longer, with free replay. When you sign up for our membership program, you'll get a back office. In a sense, you'll have an account where everything will be there as far as replays, downloads, and then if you continue with the membership into the paid program, which is only $39 a month, you'll get discounts, you get free activations, you'll get a lot of bonuses that'll be in your back office. So you won't have to download it to like your external hard drive or your desktop or anything like that. It'll be in your account, which is good for you. Me, I have to pay for storage space, but you know,
Wow, that's a generous offer.
well, yeah. And
That's good.
here's the thing. So, example. So the first meeting of every month is a kind of fireside chat, get to know everybody kind of thing. Just kind of hang out. It's not necessarily a teaching thing we do. I get to know people on the call. I go, wow, where do you live? And like, what's your vision and what's your mission on the earth? And um, so we did it on the last call or 2 calls ago, and it was very nice because it was bonding the group, is building connection. Because part of the idea of this membership program is to move beyond the veil, to move beyond the illusion, to create community to where you feel supported, if not physically, at least online. And so the group becomes very tight. You know what I mean? It becomes very tight, and people don't want to miss the meetings.
Yeah.
They usually will email me and say, "I'm sorry, I can't make it. I would like to come tonight, but I've got a da da da." Right?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah. So
we've got a
they're
good, yeah.
Yeah, they let me know, and I go, no problem.
Mhm.
But anyway, so that's kind of like fireside chat, casual kind of connection, and we could talk about things. I mean, it's all spontaneous, so we don't necessarily have a plan other than
Mhm.
help everybody to grow and to become more awake and to feel like they have community that they can talk to, because the idea is to connect outside of the group by email or even in person, you're right, and start building relationships that way. And pretty much everybody that comes on the call is a healer type, is a coach, is like they're into serving people.
Mhm.
The second meeting is, let me see, second meeting is, oh, mentoring and coaching. So I will mentor and coach one-to-one as many people as I can, given the time frame.
Mm.
And so generally I go, what's going on, man? And then they'll share, and then I'll coach them into how to work with it in a sense. So it's a little bit like how we did today with the callers, but it's very specific. And people love that. They just, so part of the thing is getting all these shy people to open up and share in a group.
Right.
In
And to get
fact,
them to put their camera on.
that's right. It's like, can you turn your camera? I like to see your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, the main thing is like hiding, yeah, this thing of like, I'll just listen, I'm not gonna share. But I kind of force people in a way. I really encourage them to like share, turn on your video and share what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, we do in our group too. We're like, come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, that seems to
Everyone
be
talks.
the number one collective issue on this
Yeah.
level. Is that, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then the third meeting is this is it's like a play day, a fun day meeting where we work on psychic exercises, developing all of your psychic senses through playful visualizations and exercises and even games. Like the one you mentioned about, like, okay, I'm gonna put a number behind my head,
Yeah.
maybe a certain color. So I want you guys to tune in and you will tell me. And then we'll discuss what people get and who knows where it goes from there. So what I love
Mhm.
about this is I've come to a place in the teaching part where it is spontaneous. So we don't know what's going to come through until it comes through. But we kind of have a theme. Mostly we'll stick with it, but sometimes we'll veer off on a tangent, which is always relevant though, but it's always spontaneous. And we're teaching people to be spontaneous on the call, to be the channels that they are naturally, right? No pre-thinking, just tell me what's going on. Tell me what you're sensing, right?
Yeah.
So I'm a prober, it's like, the definition of an
Love that.
educator.
Yeah.
See, nobody knows about this. I mean, it's like they probably erased it from a dictionary, but I did some research decades ago. Now, so an educator means to educate means, remember this, to bring out in another what is innate. That was the original purpose of education, not to lay
Mm.
on facts and programming and all that stuff, right? To bring out what is innate in another. And healing, to heal. They don't have this in the dictionary anymore. To heal originally meant to restore to one's original integrity. So write that down. Remember that.
Love that.
If you remember these two things in your teaching practice, in your healing practice, you can't go wrong. All right. Someone says, well, what do you do? Well, healing means to restore to one's natural or innate integrity. That's what this healing sessions is about.
Mhm.
If you are teaching kids or if you are teaching clients in person on Zoom, remind them to educate. I'm an educator. To educate means to bring out in another one's innate intelligence, integrity. inner knowing. See,
Right.
and then that relieves you of having to put something on another. You are a space holder, or you are a vibrational holder of what can be. That's all you're doing is you're bringing forth that which is possible for the group. So that takes the pressure off you, especially on an expectation level and a responsibility level. All you are responsible for is to hold that space of infinite possibilities for your audience, for your family, for your kids, for your parents, for your pets.
Yeah. Well, and that makes it so simple. I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Well, if
that
you're,
eliminates the need to do all these technique and processes, although you can do that. But
yeah,
we're teaching this next level. We're teaching about how to embody presence as the healer, as the teacher, as the way shower, as the knower. So common sense tells me that when we can, on a technical level, this is where the Arcturians come in again, when we can completely align our exotonal field, or whatever you want to call it, with the cosmic exotonal field, when all that's in alignment with no distortion and without fear and everything else, we're good to go. And then we don't need to learn from other people. We don't need to do these processes and exercises. At that point, we are being that which we have been seeking our whole lives. And by that, just being present and holding that, people can experience healing or awakening or whatever you want to call it. So it eliminates this whole idea of having to process something to get to this place. We're holding the field of possibility, and then it's up to each soul to go either yes or no, or maybe later.
right.
You
Wow.
don't have to tell them anything.
Love
You
that.
say,
No, yeah, it's like the more you get into this work, you realize that sometimes the silence and the space that that offers is the way to really unlock, someone else's consciousness, I guess would be the word. Yeah, unlock their own innate God consciousness. That's what I'm receiving. Cool. Wow. Dana said priceless insights. Yeah. I mean, wow. Well, with that being said, I feel like we can always go on and on and on, but let's wrap this up and we'll have you back. If you're looking for the offer, you'll find that in the YouTube caption, you'll find that in the newsletter. And Kenji, any last words?
Oh, by the
I
way,
feel like we just had last words. I'm like blown away.
the last rites. Okay. Oh, I
Well,
forgot.
that's right.
I am doing only one retreat this year in Sedona locally, and it's coming up April 7th to the 11th at the Unity Church here in Sedona, West Sedona.
Nice.
So if
Yeah.
you want to get away for 5 or 7 days to beautiful Sedona land, check out the retreat. Our early bird ends on the 28th at midnight, so only a few more days left for the early bird pricing.
Mhm.
Vets and teens that come with a parent are free. So you guys want to at least pass that on to parents that you know that have teenagers, like ages, I don't know, 14 and 19.
Is this the event that you're doing with Aurora?
Yes.
Okay, so Aurora Luna Star is also a part of this event. So
Yeah,
it's
and
like a
she's an
double
amazing,
duo dynamic. Wow.
yeah, she's an amazing channel, and she lives
Yeah.
now in Mount Shasta.
Yeah. Well, fabulous. Well, thank you, Kenji. Thank you, everyone, for your presence and being here. And we will talk soon. Kenji, I'm
Blessings,
gonna
everyone.
Thank you, Kenji. I'm going to unpin you. And I just have a couple announcements. As Lianka always says, a portion of the proceeds from this event does go to Rising Up, which is a place where we gift laptops, refurbished laptops to people in need. So I want to just make you aware of that. I also want to make you aware that we have an Amazon shop that we've been talking a little bit about a couple things. We talked about our amazing room heater, which is in workflow section. And we're also talking about some really healing things that really do work. I found this really cool infrared thing for your knees, and one that also goes on your back that I just added to the shop under the wellness section. If you're looking for that, I made a link at the bottom of the newsletter that goes directly to our Amazon shop. This is like not really anything but to give you some things that we've found really, really work. So if you're looking for that, you can find that in the newsletter. If you're not on the newsletter, go to houthustle.com and opt in. Lastly, we are going to be sending a link out through the newsletter if you would like to get text messages. So look for that, probably coming next week. And just a reminder about the Mystique Society. We meet every second week of the month on a Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific. And we are always open to having new participants. If you're interested and would like more details, even a 15-minute phone call with me about it, please just send an email to team@houthustle.com. And with that said, we will be back next week, next Tuesday and Thursday, same time, same place. And we look forward to seeing you then. Bye. Have a great weekend.